Prime Minister Modi's third term brings many expectations from across the world, but these have been built on a series of achievements that have been critical in rebuilding trust and fomenting relationships with the partners around the globe. The focus of this next half an hour is to recount the various achievements of Prime Minister Modi, from a car sevak in the RSS to the top office of the government, is exactly what we will discuss with our guest. Joining us on the show to talk more about this is Advocate Chandni Preeti Shah, political analyst. Also joining us on the show is Mr. Uday Mahurkar, senior journalist on the show. Sumit Peer, political commentator, will be joining us momentarily as well. Mr. Himanshu Bhatt, senior journalist, also joins us on the show as well. Chandni, I'll begin with you. Well, obviously, the Prime Minister has come back, with this third term, and there's a reason for it. There are reasons we have discussed already why the BJP got less than 272 seats, but we are going to look at the glass half full at this point in time. The reason why the Prime Minister has come back, because of the numerous things that he has done which have actually elevated the country at unprecedented levels. If you remember, in 2013-14, India was part of the fragile economies. It was 11th on the chart of growth, as well as largest economies as well. Today it is at 5th, and there is no stopping us from getting to number 3, perhaps in a few more years. And the fact of the matter is, and what's important and priority should be given to the fact that India continues on this path, India continues on this trajectory, and that's exactly why some of the NDA partners continue to support the Prime Minister despite their differences in the past.
Absolutely, Vineet. Every statement of yours perfectly reflects, the achievement of Narendra Modi as the Prime Minister of this country in the past 10 years. Before that, he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat for 14 years. And before that, he has been a part Jan Sangh and the RSS and the entire, right wing that we, collectively say of India. And he has tremendous, experience of being into the politics, not just, holding the positions of the Chief Minister and the Prime Minister, but even prior to that, he has, very closely seen how the politics of India works. And when we talk about the achievements of the Prime Minister, it's actually not just handful, but there are a lot of things that he has done for the country in the last 10 years, which actually needs to be highlighted, because as you said, India is the fastest growing economy, and this change in the economic scenario, the economic growth has been seen under the last 10 years of leadership. Apart from that, if we come to counting of what the PM has done for India in the last 10 years, the highways that he has built. Until 2014, we had around 25,000 kilometers of highway. Today, we have around almost 60,000 kilometers of highway built, which improves the connectivity of the urban and the rural India. We had 74 airports. Now today, we have around 149 airports. We had only 5 cities with metros. Today we have 20 cities with metros. We had only 21,800 kilometers of electrified railway lines. Today we have around 60,000 kilometers of electrified railway line. Apart from that, more than 500 new universities have been built. Around 1,17,000 startups have come, which was like negligent number until 2014. Around only 350 startups we had seen around up to 2014. AIMS, we saw an increase from 7 to 23. IITs, we saw an increase from 7 to 23. Electronic exports, we have seen it was only $7.6 billion dollars up to 2014. In 2024, we have around $22.7 billion dollars of electronic exports. FDI, we have seen a humongous growth in the FDI, foreign direct investments. The renewable power capacity has increased significantly. The inflation has come down from 8.20% to 5%. Our GDP has grown. The multidimensional poverty has come down from 29.2% to 11.3%. The GDP has seen a growth rate, such well growth rate. We are at 8.20% GDP today. It does not matter, but the data prices, it was around 300 rupees per GB. Today, we merely spend around 10 rupees per GB. It is not a big thing, but yes, it matters. India, as I said, it's the first country to land on the south pole of the moon. It's a big achievement for us in the space sector as well. For the first time, after the abrogation of Article 370, Srinagar played the host of F4 races. Now, when we collectively see all this, these are not non-significant achievements. This actually shows how India has grown in the past 10 years, how it has seen a significant change, not just on the national level, but also on the international level. Today, globally, we stand at a place where India is asked, and the opinions of India matters, and it is all because of the able leadership of Narendra Modi in the last 10 years, and it will continue to do so. I guess, as you said, that the partners of NDA have kept their trust in the prime ministership of Narendra Modi, is all because of these achievements itself.
Absolutely right. Mr. Mahurkar, how do you reflect upon these past 10 years? There is obviously this buzz about India that was never there before. For all of the people who travel abroad, realize this palpable difference in the way Indians are perceived. And that's all thanks to what has happened in the last 10 years.
I look at it as, I call it an era of national reawakening. You see, saints like Vivekanand, Sri Aurobindo, my Guru Swami Paramahananji, Dayananda Saraswati, they had done the groundwork for India's rise after centuries of bondage. But Mahatma Gandhi's unfortunate death and murder, created a situation where people who had less, belief in our core culture, core ideology, core ethos of this nation, or had less, or some of the people were such that who had no belief in our core culture. Such people got the chance, and they, in one sense, thrust on this country, pro minority model, which stopped Bharat from exploiting its full potential. So these are, this is an era of national reawakening, be it 370, Ram Mandir, on the cultural plane, Ram Mandir, then, the way he has plugged the holes in the system. You see, the Indian system was full of holes because of corruption, one, wasteful expenditure, wrong policies, and the way he has plugged the holes. My own assessment is, because I have written 2 books on his governance, one on his 13 years in Gujarat, center stage, and the other was Marching with a Billion on his 3 years as Prime Minister. I can say that India is saving about 3 to 4 lakh crore rupees per annum by plugging these leakages. So this is a very big contribution. Chandni ji, of course, has cited a series of achievements, so I did not go into them. But you see, one of the biggest problems of this country was poverty. The way below poverty line people have been elevated, it's a great achievement. Secondly, you see, the delivery of schemes in this country was never beyond 50%, when the government on paper was claiming 100%. I think now the delivery rate is about 80 to 90%. Say, let's take the housing scheme, PM Awas Yojana. Now the success rate is almost 95%. 4 crore people have got new homes, those who did not have their own houses, And the system which he has, evolved by using digital technology. I mean, if suppose you want to know as to a person has been allotted a house from PM Awas Yojana in Lakshadweep. On the 7th click, 6th or 7th click, you will know whether that house is standing there or not. If it is incomplete, then in what shape it is. I think this this system of, basically, uh, using technology to ensure short delivery. I think this is a great achievement for this country, where one of the prime ministers said about 30 years ago that when we send 100 rupees, only 15 paisa reaches the end beneficiary. So I think this is a great achievement. And I remember in 2014, when it was almost certain that Mr. Modi would become the prime minister. I had gone to interview Mohanji Bhagwat in Nagpur. It was a cover story for India Today magazine.
Right, and
And
Sumit Peer also joins us at this point in time.
and,
Sumit, if you look
and
at
he
Sumit, if you look at some of the other achievements, the one rank one pension was a project that was pending for almost 41 years, taken care of by Prime Minister Modi. The Kollam bypass was pending for 43 years, taken care of by the Prime Minister. The Bangladesh enclaves were taken care of under the Prime Minister's leadership. There were 20,000 fake NGOs which were wiped out and weeded out in the last 10 years. 80,000 fake teachers who were removed from their positions. 4 lakh shell companies were in fact taken care of. 6 lakh fake midday meal beneficiaries were also removed. 2 crore fake Manrega cards were in fact identified and taken care of by the Modi government. 4.2 crore fake LPG connections were taken care of by them, and 5 crore fake ration cards were also in fact taken care of by the Modi government. Now, these are not the things. When you talk about landing on the moon and you talk about GST and you talk about the 5th largest economy, some of these other provisions or some of these other savings, the bachat that the Modi government has done, Sumit, it goes unnoticed. But for us as journalists and for you, as somebody who understands and appreciates this government, these are some of the nuances that need to be reiterated.
Vinny, thank you for having me on your show. Apologies for joining late. I got a bit stuck in the traffic. Delhi traffic is a bit unpredictable. Now, the issue here is very simple. Money saved is money earned.
Correct.
Power saved is power generated. It's very simple. This is direct contributing to your bottom line. This is direct contribution to your bottom line. And this money, which is accounts to around $40 to $50 billion, is a lot of money which was going to all those people who should not get this money in the name of people whom the money should have reached. We have seen those times when Rajiv Gandhi ji told us, "मैं दिल्ली से 1 रुपया भेज दो, 15 पैसे पहुंचते हैं." And these are the times we have seen. We have seen a time when P. Chidambaram ji told us, imagine I buying bindi or aloo, then I giving my credit card and the person will take 15 rupees from a credit card and it will be digital payment. I remember the day when Mr. P. Chidambaram said, when we were the 11th largest economy, he said on the parliament, if Congress is in the leadership, it will take us 3 decades, 3 saal to become the number 5th economy. It's only if Congress is at the helm of affairs and I am the finance minister. Well, that all was done by Prandiji in 9 years. Now, if you look at the digital payments, Vineet, 6 out of 7 transactions done in India are digital. Digital payments market was $7 trillion. It has now gone to $11 trillion, the valuation of the market. India is the highest digitized economy in the whole world. Our digital transactions are more than US, Europe, and the rest of the lot of countries of the world put together. What did this happen? This proved a point that there was no leakage, because digital means there is no leakage. There is no scenario, Delhi se 1 rupaya bhej do, 15 paise pahunchte hain. Those all things have been weeded out. So the billions of dollars which Exchequer saved were was hard-earned money of the taxpayer, which was going down the drain, and it was looted by the people. It was looted by the cronies, and the system was kept like that. You wanted to have those loose ends because you wanted the cronies to loot it. I'll tell you one thing. We have 7 times the more grain in our warehouses than what we need from the MSP, as per the MSP scheme. If for 21 months we don't grow a grain of rice, we have enough in our warehouses. 33% of that grain was eaten by rodents. Yeah, sar jata tha. What was we doing? We were selling it to the alcohol companies. They were making sharab out of it. Now, when the same grain gets distributed to the poor of the country, but the Honorable Supreme Court has also made a notification on that, then the Congress ke mitra are very pareshan. Why? They are happy with rodents. Chuhe billi wo dana khai, koi problem nahi. But if it goes to the poor of the country, they will question where is your development model. This has been the problem of the country. There have been resources, but the optimization of resources is an equally bigger task than generation of the resources. You cannot have a bucket with a bigger hole.
Sumit, let me also highlight another data, and you'll be in fact surprised to know that this is data that was published by the Wall Street Journal, just a few years ago. It said that after 2014, the GDP growth on an average for the next few years under the BJP government, the Modi government, was around 7.6%. And before 10 years before that, it was 6.6. The average consumer inflation, Sumit Peer, was 4.91% per year. And before that, before 2014, it was 9.46%, almost double of that. The rupee's move against dollars was negative 5.70%. And in fact, car sales growth saw a huge rise under Prime Minister Modi. It was at 7.2%, whereas under the UPA, it was 6%. Foreign exchange reserve growth under the UPA, it was 4.2%. Under Prime Minister Modi, it was 5.4%. Home loan rate obviously increased. Fiscal deficit as percentage of the GDP slipped down to 3.90%, Sumit Peer, just in the first 2 years. On an yearly basis, under the UPA, it was 4.540%. Foreign direct investment was $40 billion in just a couple of years. And in the UPA era, on an average, it was somewhere close to $20 billion. Sumit Peer. Then I'll go to Mr. Bhatt.
I want to make two or three quick points here. The first thing is, if you look at the World Bank's published data, this is not my data, this is not NewsX data, this is not BJP data. World Bank published data says, starting from Pandit Nehru, first Prime Minister to Modi ji, the CPI, which is the mark, which is the benchmark of inflation, has been lowest in Modi ji's tenure. This is what is endorsed by the World Bank. Not BJP, not NewsX, not Sumit Peer. We are nobody. World Bank says it. That's the point number one. Highest FDI in last 6-7 years in a row is not going to China. It is coming to India. Now, what is your inflation today? It's 4.63%. And you know, if inflation falls less than 4%, we will be...
Let me also rope in Mr. Bhatt into this conversation. Mr. Surinder Singh Lali also joins us on this show. Mr. Bhatt, in fact, adults with bank accounts, before Prime Minister took office in 2014, was 45%. Today, adults with bank accounts comprise 85%. Villages without electricity, before Prime Minister Modi in 2014, was close to 20,000. There are 0 villages today that don't have electricity. Rural road construction was 11.6 kilometers. Today, it's 26.9 kilometers a day we are talking about. A day. That's the growth. Sanitation coverage was 47% under the UPA. Today, it's 85%. Foreign direct investment was 36 billion a year, and today it's close to 80 billion. These are the numbers that we are talking about.
See, the numbers, what you're saying, Vinay, I'll go to a larger point of the whole thing and say, Chandni said some numbers, Vijayji said something. Sumit also came up with some very good points. I'll say, how did it come up? But when it came up, what was the basic ingredient? I know Narendra Bhai since the time he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat. And you know how he worked? He said, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. And now that became a slogan. I'm just taking one example. And now you have in 10 years' time of a prime ministership where it has become an aspirational India. It has become aspirational India. Why it became? Because people started getting direct transfers to their accounts. So many accounts. He said, I'll open up the accounts. And he opened it up. He said, I'll transfer 1 rupee to your account. And the 1 rupee wholly went, not just 15%. Now see, that was a stark contrast to the past governments. And that is what instills confidence. An aspirational India is moving to, out in the world, if you see today, maximum number of UTI transactions, maybe double the size, position 2 country. We do it every day. And people are worried, or people are wondering, how did it come up? And what is happening? How is it that India is doing that? US-based news medias are doing these articles. Then we believe it. But when an Indian says you that, we don't believe it. We did not have that inclination, that what is called as a self-pride. That instilling of self-pride was the biggest thing done by this Narendra Bhai government. Every Indian today believes that he can do that. Every Indian can go without money with his phone and go and make a 20 rupee transaction by phone. Now see, when such things come up, cumulatively it has a cascade, huge effect, erupting volcano effect. And that is what I'm talking about. And that is what is the change. Self-pride in Indians that is becoming into Bharat. Don't forget that. The basic mission is transforming India into Bharat. And this entire infrastructure, the gamut of things, which is happening, having the highest ever foreign reserves, all these things are aspiring Indians to go one notch further. And that is what is the cumulative effect that Narendra Bhai has brought about. One simple thing, as I said, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. In a particular caste in Gujarat, had that issue. Girls were killed, the girls were butchered. I'll not say the name of the community, but that's a fact of life because I'm a Gujarati, I've stayed there, and so I know they don't like having a girl. From that started the campaign, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. And then today, we have umpteen number of examples, where this Nal Se Jal came, the house came, everything is a well thought out scheme in his regime. In his mind, the things are very well thought out. In Gujarat, we saw that. Why is it every time people keep on talking, Gujarat model is nothing, Delhi model is everything? Why is it that opponents keep on harping about it? They were basically a silent changes that he brought about, And after that, when you see in the national scene, people find it amazing that can it be done everywhere?
Right, and
yes.
it's only befitting, Mr. Lali, that we also talk about the muscular foreign policy that the Prime Minister has been able to articulate over the past 10 years. India, for the longest period, as much as I can remember, as much as you can remember, we were basically, considered sidekicks of either Russia or the United States. We were basically towing a line, which kept us out of the limelight. But in fact, now we are following a philosophy, a policy, which is not only individualistic in nature, nationalistic in nature, but also very, very progressive in nature. We want to do what is best for India.
Thank you, Vineet. Once again, it's a matter of great honor to me to be among such a distinguished panel. And I'm going to start from where you just gave me the lead. When you decide the cabinet, while it's happening right now, there are a lot of pushes and pulls in it. But Narendra Modi, the Honorable Prime Minister, chose a thorough diplomat because he realized, and there were internal pressures from people within the party who wanted this plum portfolio, but he had interacted with Dr. Jaishankar on a visit to China. So that's when he understood that, yes, there are some internal political compulsions, and one of his choices to have one of the most nimble and deft foreign ministers who knew his job well has done a great service to India. Because at the end of the day, it's our geopolitical alliances that decide how and what our future would be. You see, please understand, the gentleman rose from the ranks of a Pacharak. He wasn't a blue-eyed boy who pretty much grew up in Khan Market and, went to London for a vacation, pun intended. He knew, because he had risen from the way up, so he knew the problems of the common man, be all the schemes that he introduced. I mean, if you look at it, without naming, in the last UPO and then UPA 2, everybody who was friends with Sanjay Gandhi was in a position of power. Everybody who went to Doon School was a position of power. Everybody who hung around Khan Market and Sujan Singh Park was in a position of power. But Mr. Modi was known to change the entire cabinet just before a state election. And nobody could ever assume who the next possible, chief minister could be, which he's done on, so many occasions. And one thing which I feel after living in the West for so long is his body language is so good. Because, before we meet anybody, a great chunk of maybe 40, 50 or 60% of people across from you make an opinion of you by the way you walk, by the way you conduct yourself. And you look at the body language, the kind of puppy jappi he was doing at the head of the states. Honestly, with the way wokeism is, I can't do that to my nieces and nephews. But he developed a one-on-one rapport with people who mattered. And once you're able to, your body speak more than your words. And not only his words, every time wherever he goes for a speech, it is a thoroughly well-researched speech. And I don't know why the opposition makes some of a teleprompter. Please understand, India is a huge country. There are so many states. And every 200 miles we travel, the face, the color, the language, and the dialect changes, and it should. So he goes researched. He's going to associate with the subject, and he sensitizes himself with issues which are relevant to that particular audiences he's speaking from. So I feel he's done a great job, not just taking us to the number 5 or number 4, number 3. He has given us a sense of pride. Today you say, yes, I am from the land of Modi. And the same United States of America, which did not issue him a visa, gave him a grand state welcome at the White House. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely right. Sumit, you wanted to make a point, but the fact of the matter is that this growth trajectory, what's going to happen to it in the next 5 years? How robustly is it going to grow? And do you think, considering what happened on the 4th of June, is there any doubt to the pace at which India has been growing now?
Vineet, 4th of June, there is an absolute clear mandate for NDA in the Netritwa or leadership of Prime Minister Modi. It's Prime Minister Modi's mandate. Prime Minister Modi's BJP is more than all India alliance, which is the complete Vipaksh put together. There is no doubt on it. Let anybody who's a part of NDA today, tomorrow, or wherever, it is the mandate of Modi ji, and Modi ji has his own way of functioning. He is a person who is known for his own ways. You have to toe his line. He is not Manmohan Singh, where you can say coalition dharma. He will not say alliance dharma. He will not keep his one eye closed. He is not a person who is going to tame him down. He is not a person who is going to learn to, kneel to your dictations or kneel to your diktats. He is Modi, right? And that is what he is known in the world over. Modi ji के नाम से हमारे दुश्मन घबराते हैं. So all the people who have to work with him, they have to know what is his style. The India will keep on growing leaps and bounds. There can be a one-odd setup in a state like West Bengal or in UP. We had that. That's okay. But still, the biggest, tallest leader of the country is Prime Minister Modi. There's no other leader. I mean, if Rahul Gandhi thinks he has done some great job after 10 years and 55 years more in waiting, we had 99 seats. I think we need, there are nothing called consolation prize. And let me remind you, Mr. Kejriwal, Modi mujhse dar gaya, mujhe jail mein dala, main 200 seats launga. What did he end up with? 3 seats. That's exactly what I was telling you. Kejriwal ji was happy in a jail because when you keep him out of the jail and he ends up with 3 seats, the phenomenon of Kejriwal is over. You can do 20 pieces in a day. You can write 20 jumlas. You can write all the Sahanbhuti, tumhara Kejriwal, Atma, Paramatma, whatever. But to become a prime minister, you have to win seats. Nobody, goddamn, has won more seats than Modi ji. That's the reality of the life. Wake up, smell coffee, face it, Mr. Gandhi, face it, Mr. Kejriwal.
In fact, you're absolutely right. And Chandni, we saw Rahul Gandhi, conduct a press conference just a few minutes ago, and he was beaming. He was beaming perhaps with so much pride and happiness, as if he's won the country's mandate. There's still less than 100 seats.
He was also, saying on stock markets, and I was wondering that, he should stop somewhere and he should not say something which would damage him more. But whatever they want to say, they can celebrate, they can rejoice. Oh, we got closer seats to, the NDA and now. But the fact remains that all of them together could not come close to the single largest party and their seat count. And it is an irrefutable fact that Narendra Modi has seen the longest tenure as head of an elected government, which includes his term of more than 12 years as chief minister of Gujarat, among all the prime ministers that this country has seen. So and he's like set to sworn in as our prime minister for the 3rd consecutive term, and for the next 5 years. Rahul Gandhi and the entire INDIA bloc, until it survives, will have to keep crying and cribbing and come out with new blames and games to play. Yes, Sumit bhai, exactly. So we need, actually it's time we need to celebrate. I've seen so many people who are vouching for BJP and NDA. They were like disappointed. I understand, but there's no need to be dejected. There's only one topper. There's only one person who tops. The second, third, fourth doesn't matter, right? And the game has been topped by Narendra Modi. That's the point.
All right, Mr. Bhatt wanted to make a point. Mr. Bhatt,
I wanted to make a very pertinent comment. Now they are talking in terms of 234. How long will it stay 234? Because without power, that 234 makes no sense. Because the smaller regional parties every time want some power in their hands, so they can become relevant. I'll not be surprised that if 234 becomes less than 200 within a year, That is what I wanted to say. And one last thing before I stop is, it was the foreign minister of Zelensky who came here and said, Modi ji, please come to us, come to our country. And Vladimir Putin phoned him up and said, whether you can do anything for our conflict, please do it. That is that man's stature today on international. And we need not forget that, and we should always remember that Indians are a self-esteem, self-pride people today. Not like yesteryears when we used to stand in a queue
All
on
right.
a passport and be
Mr.
thrown out.
Mohurkar also wants to come in. Mr. Mohurkar, go ahead. I can't hear you, sir. Please unmute yourself.
Introspection. Thank you so much. There is a need for self-introspection on the part of BJP also, on the part of BJP leadership also. I think our discussion has become very one-sided. If the results are not up to the expectations of the party, which is the largest party as of today, then we also have to talk about why it has got less number of seats. I think there is a need for self-introspection. I think two things matter. The overuse use of agencies against opposition leaders while not using them against their own leaders, even in a single instance. That campaign of the opposition really helped them, And second was taking tainted leaders into the party and then closing cases against them. I think this was a big jolt to the ideological plank of BJP and the NDA. This doesn't gel with the kind of good governance. This verdict is not at all on good governance. I agree with all of you that the best possible job of good governance has been done. I think something which was not expected. The way there is no sector where the country has not seen manifold increase, increase in terms of result. Be it aviation, be it railways, and the biggest thing which Mr. Modi has given to the country is the sense of pride and how he has done it. Pride is a very important part of his model, You see, every individual, he thinks that every individual has some capacity, whether he might be a hawker.
All right. Mr. Lali wants to come in. Mr. Lali wants to make a concluding thought. We have run out of time as well. Mr. Lali, quickly, please.
Vineet, when I see Congress celebrating, it reminds me of a very beautiful couplet I had heard in a Qawwali by Nusrat Saab. I mean, you can accuse BJP of not getting 400 seats, but that's a target they set for themselves. What does Congress to do with that? After being in politics for 120 years and all you manage is 4 seats, then all I have to say is कि मैं तो रोता हूँ कि मेरा दिल गया. एक आशिक कह रहा है, मैं तो रोता हूँ कि मेरा दिल गया कि मेरे 400 नहीं आए. तू क्यों हंसता है? तुझे क्या मिल गया? मेरा दिल गया.
Vineet,
all right, Sumit, go ahead.
Vineet ji, Congress is very happy. We have doubled our tally. Sab tali bajao bhai. But there is a bigger hero of this alliance. You know what? Kejriwal ji, 400% increase in his tally. 0 se 4 seat. 400% increase. He is the hero. They should celebrate him. Why is Rahul Gandhi happy? If it is about the percentage only, Kejriwal ji is the hero. But bhai, मोदी बनने के लिए ना 300 सीटें जीतनी पड़ती. अभी 297 कम है. You have to keep on trying.
All right.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.